Hello, everybody. This is Macky, and we're back with another episode of the Hidden Threads podcast. And we got a great topic today. We've discussed it a little bit with Juice.
Yeah.
Death investigations. My microphone's moving around here. So I kind of wanted to get into how we actually get these cases to start out. So we get them on the way past the incident stage. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Way
Sometimes
past.
25 years. They're cold cases or whatever. But we've got a few working now we're going to discuss today. But we get people call us and they say, hey, we think that my loved one or friend or whatever, the police say they committed suicide, and we don't believe they committed suicide. Or they're saying we could be on this side as well, on the defendant side, where they're saying, hey, I killed this person, but I didn't. And we have to go out and investigate that. We just finished up one, this was before you started with us, I think, where the Aryan Brotherhood, and then you had their subset, the Southern boys.
Oh yeah,
got involved. We'll talk about that a little bit, and then we got one where it's a parent just wants to know if her daughter was involved in a murder. Right. Let's get into these a little bit. So let's start out with. I keep losing my list, Juice. Where are you? You're the one that sent that to me.
I don't know.
You're not in charge of this thing, are you?
You're right.
Oh, good Lord. Here we go. All right. Get into the methodology a little bit. So Juice has, I think he does this too. He starts with the victim and works his way out. All right. That's our methodology. And we work our way out to see who would have killed this person, what their lifestyle was about, their behavior. You can do it at the micro level. Like, what were they doing the day of they got killed?
Right.
What were they eating? Who were they meeting up with? Those kind of things. And that's where we start interviewing people and find out who the actual criminal was. So it's called victimology, and then it ties into criminology later. Is that how you see it, Juice?
Yeah, I agree.
Now, you get police forces sometimes. They think they know who committed the crime, so they start with the suspect and work their way out. It works sometimes. It can take you down some long rabbit holes.
I don't like doing it that way, though.
Yeah, I don't either. I like starting at the body, if we have one, or at the person who's missing, and work our way back.
Right.
Work our way out from there. Our circle expands.
That's more logical for me to do.
Right. We could have 20 investigators in here and have 20 different. We'd sit and argue about it for 3 days.
Yeah.
But I've taken classes on victimology from guys that were in the FBI, and they said that's how the FBI does it. They start at the body and work their way out.
Right.
It don't have to be a body. I'm talking about the missing person and work their way out as well. So, and that's how you bump into people that you can interview. And that's where people start lying to you all those things. So, any thoughts on it so far before we get into some specific cases?
No, I think we're pretty much agreeing the way we do it.
Right. Let's talk about the one where you had one where we had a young lady. We were investigating her for a child custody case. And then the person that hired us mentioned something. Hey, there was a girl that that died of an overdose, and we think your person you're investigating had something to do with it.
Right.
Did we ever find anything on that?
Not yet.
You're still working on it.
Yeah,
right?
We're running into some investigators don't like returning phone calls.
A little bit of bureaucracy, maybe?
Yes.
A little bit of laziness, probably?
Probably a mix.
So one thing I find when we get into these cases where they've already been investigated by it could be another private investigation firm or a public firm, police force, federal agencies, whatever. They think they got this thing solved, and they don't want more work put on them for us throwing a wrench in their plan.
Yeah,
theory.
That ego, like you can't do better than I did. For me, I don't care if I've come up with a conclusion on a case. If you look at it and you find something that I didn't find or I overlooked something, I would rather have extra set of eyes on it because I want to make sure that we've got it right.
Right. Yep. And we run into it a lot where they don't want to reveal information. We got the case going on with Loretta Carr now where they're not going to because they're the opposition, but the opposing side is not disclosing their discovery.
Right.
And not just to us, but they're not turning everything over to the law firm.
Yeah, and that I don't understand. What's right is right. What's fair is fair.
Right. And the law says you're supposed to. Now, I don't know if there's a timeline. I don't know what the time. I know when the judge says to turn it over, they usually give you, hey, within 30 days, have all your files turned over to this location.
Yeah.
I don't know what the timeline was set on that one, but back to the one where so we found out that we haven't found out much on the girl that died.
No.
But we did find out where the person we think might have caused the overdose had some dope sent through the mail.
Correct.
Is that a dark web thing?
I would suggest maybe perhaps it is.
Right. I'm doing the dark web side of it, looking it over. There
Yeah.
goes the plumber. They must have got done quick today.
That was nice of them.
Right. Well, when you got stuff messed up, when the plumber shows up, it's going to be about $1,000.
Yeah. That's it?
Yeah. That's just for showing up, right?
Right.
But yeah, people get stuff shipped to them to the dark web now. Now, why you would get it done through the postal service is beyond me. I don't know why you would do that.
Well, because you don't think when you're a criminal.
Yeah, but the post they have. I don't know if they do it randomly or what, but they'll have a dog sniff random packages. And if a dog sits on it, they're going to open that baby up because it's suspicious.
A lot of people just think that the mail comes, it gets delivered by somebody, and they don't even look at it.
Yeah, they have dogs that in these central terminals, they call them. Like here's Birmingham.
Yep.
Then you have one in Nashville, the next closest one, I think. They'll have people that are trained with the dogs, or they'll bring the local police force in, and they'll just hang out and they'll say, "Hey, here's some packages off the truck," or go in the truck.
Yeah. And
they'll go smell. I dealt with bomb sniffing dogs overseas a lot. I'm not a handler, but they were with us, right?
Yeah.
I was a shift leader, so we always had to have a handler with us. And those dogs are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I watched them trained, and they would and the handlers would get us while they were training, and they would give us, they were sniffing explosives, but you can train this dog on anything.
Yeah.
Dead bodies, drugs, you name it. And we would hide this stuff in places. I'm like, there's no way that dog's going to find it. And they would find it. It was crazy, man. Yeah. You try to trick them. You can't trick that smeller, dude.
No.
They get the smeller like
them
nothing
sniffers
else.
Go overtime.
Right. The dog thinks they're just playing around. They just want that chew toy. That's all they want. They don't care. They don't know that they're fighting explosive devices or
they just
drugs.
know they're a good boy and a good girl, and they get that toy.
Yeah. We would get it and put it in. You ever seen the Russian doll thing where you?
Oh, yeah. The doll inside the doll inside the doll.
We did that with like suitcases.
Yeah.
We did suitcase inside a suitcase inside a suitcase, like multiple layers. You think it tricked the dog? No, they got it. So
they stick it in coffee. Oh, the dog will never smell it through coffee. Yes, they do.
Well, the thing is, so you handle whatever you're putting in the container. So you put the explosive device and you handle it and seal it up. The residue off your fingers leaves a scent.
Yes.
And that's what
and it carries.
It attracts them.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, here's the main scent. You know what I mean? It's like a little trail. It leads them to the thing. The handlers kind of explained to us how it works. And he said, what gets people caught on this hiding dope, hiding dead bodies, hiding explosives, whatever, is where you touched it and then handled something around it. Yeah. So I don't care if you got rubber gloves on or not. That's still a scent from that.
It's just the residuals of what's on your hands.
Right. And so we've digressed a lot here.
Yeah.
But anyway, Postal Service, this girl got some dope mailed, so we're waiting on some results from that. But hopefully it'll come soon.
Yeah.
But we're investigating that and see if it's tied to this young girl that they said overdose, but we're suspicious of that. So now, if our girl we're investigating, if they were just partying together and she overdosed, that's one thing. But if she provided the drugs and it was bad, a hot shot, we call it, then she's liable.
Absolutely.
So, hot shot's it's a drug that's been cut with something that's bad, or it's just too much of it.
Right.
Too much concentration. It could be what we call a hot shot. So the next one is we're looking at the Green case. I just said the name. Who cares? It's out in public knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So we just got this one where a young man pulled up to the side of a road, parked his car, got out, walked in the woods, and killed himself, shot himself.
Allegedly.
The situation is weird to us.
It is.
He did not go far into the woods. What does he think? 15 feet? 20 feet?
Maybe.
You drove out there. I haven't seen it yet. So
maybe.
And it's kind of a busy intersection, right?
Very, yes.
It's kind of out in the country, but it's still a place where a lot of these neighborhoods pass through. And he just pulled up, walked in the woods, and shot himself. There was a lot of NyQuil bottles in the car.
There was NyQuil bottles all around. I don't know just yet, but they didn't find the key to the car. But there was money left.
They didn't rob him.
No.
Yeah. And the suspicious part about that to me is his buddies kept driving back over to where the car was being stored saying, hey, what is the police saying?
Yeah.
They were
and
very
they've been
curious.
at the relative's house questioning that relative. Have they found anything? Have they come talk to you? Do they know who did this? Or it's just suspicious behavior at this point.
Mm-hmm. Right. It is suspicious. And we started there. We start with the victim and work our way out. What was he doing that day? And work our way out. And that's where we come across these guys coming up to the neighborhood saying, hey, what's the cops found?
Yeah.
They're basically interrogating
the relative.
the deceased sister. So any other thoughts, Juice, before we take a break?
Nope, not right now.
All right, we'll be back in just a second. Hey, everybody, Macky here. I just want to get into what we actually do here at Macky Outlaw Private Investigators. So we conduct domestic investigations, which include your adultery and custody cases. You may have a cheating spouse that you're wanting to find out, or you may have shared custody and you're wanting to find out what the other parents are doing, maybe prove that they're not good parents for a custody modification. Also, what we do is criminal defense investigations. That's where people get in trouble and they need help proving their innocence. It could be either pre-conviction or post-conviction. So if you know people in those situations, just give us a ring. Also, we work missing person cases. That's where we track down people that are missing. It can be children, teenagers, all the way to senior adults. So if you have a case like that, how we work those cases is we use surveillance. We locate and find witnesses and interview them. Also conduct digital forensics where we extract deleted data and locate those digital artifacts to help your case. If you need those types of investigations done, you can always click the link and contact us. You can call us directly at 866-910-7499. That's 866-910-7499. Or visit us on the web at MackeyOutlaw.com. Thank y'all. All right, we're back for the second part, talking about murder.
We are.
What do you think about murder, Juice?
Could be a good thing.
It happens, right?
Yeah.
It could be a good thing.
Yeah.
How could it be a good thing?
I don't know.
Some people need killing.
Yes.
That wouldn't be murder, though. That's more like
justifiable homicide.
Justifiable homicide.
There are some people that need ventilating in this world.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
There are. I'm not going to disagree with you. Now, you get into these TV shows, Juice, where they get on there, and the media that does them, they can be interesting, great productions. But they give you about 10% of the whole story because they only got 30 minutes to an hour to get the story across, right?
Right.
The better ones are the ones where it's a miniseries where it goes on for 10 or 12 episodes and get more details in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
My wife loves Dateline or 48 Hours. I watch some of them. Some of them I lose interest in because it's just the media trying to make it, they make it very extraordinary about what's going on. You know
they do.
I mean? Well, they got to sell commercials, right? And anyways, they leave out a bunch of stuff. Like they make it like the cops are bad because nobody was talking. Cops can't make people talk.
No, they can't.
Right.
But sometimes you get, we did a podcast before on rapport.
Mm-hmm.
Once you build that rapport, you can get them to release more information.
Right.
Some just don't want to take the time to build that rapport.
They go in there and strong arm them, the people button up, and then it's over, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes the evidence just isn't there.
Sometimes.
And you're just waiting around for somebody to come forward and tell you what happened. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. We're working one now that I don't think the evidence is there.
Which one is that?
You know.
Does that have to do with Cliff?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think the evidence is there. What a little background here. There's a young lady. She was found at the bottom of a cliff, about 100 foot maybe.
At least, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And her body was, she'd been there for a couple of years. Bones were scattered about.
Right.
And then they start backing this up, saying that because we got the client, right? They're saying because our client, her husband was having an affair with this young lady who was tossed off the cliff, that our client must have done it.
Right.
because there was a rift there.
That's pretty much what they're saying. Yeah.
There's absolutely zero, zilch, nada evidence tying our client to this body.
None.
There's a lot more other people that look more suspicious to me.
Yes, I agree.
And what they did there, it made a kind of a rush judgment. And the DA said, "Oh, that's good enough. They were having a marital spat, so she had to kill this girl."
I think the blinders were on.
Still are right now
for this case.
Well, then they go make a big high profile arrest and make big announcements on TV and all this, and now they can't back out of that because it makes them look bad.
Correct.
So, but now they're going to look real bad if this goes all the way to a jury and the jury says not guilty.
Yeah. Then they're going to look
which is
really
worse,
bad.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're kind of in the middle of the DA's political thing right now, so people would forget about it within 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
If she just said, "Hey, we made a mistake."
Yep, exactly. It's easier for me to say, "Hey, look, I made a mistake," than to let something play out and then be made a fool of.
I'd have more respect for that politician than I would the other way.
Absolutely.
Where we're going to take this to the bitter end and waste everybody's time and money.
Yep.
And have somebody locked up forever. Anyway, this body they found on an anonymous tip. The body was found. It's kind of scattered about. Bones were here and there.
Right.
Because of wild animals got a hold of it. And our client, the only evidence that the opposing party has is a girl who's completely making up a story, in my opinion.
Yeah. If her lips are moving, she's lying.
Juice found her up in Chattanooga, and she told the cops a couple different stories. She told me a different story. She said there was massive amounts of blood, the cops said there was blood at both crime scenes, the trailer and at our client's house. But then the crime scene techs say, "No, we never saw any blood, right? At either place."
Nope.
And the cops told in one of the statements I read, they had a girl make an admission of this thing, which was stupid. After she asked for a lawyer, by the way.
Yeah.
They were trying to say that there was a bloody palm print in the trailer that was Loretta's and all this stuff. And I'm like, but the technician said there was no blood.
Right.
All right. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's again not passing a sniff test. There's a whole lot of this case. I don't understand why she's in jail, first of all, because there's no evidence, and then you get one that asked for an attorney, and the cops completely ignored that in the interview. I don't say it's an interview. It was a 12-hour interrogation in my book. They interrogated her.
Yeah, it was more than a hostile interview.
Yeah, exactly. So it stinks. The whole thing stinks.
So you have two type interviews. You have an informational interview. That's just where they're relaying information. And you have a hostile interview. That's where you think that person sitting across from you committed a crime.
Right.
But this went more than that. Like they withheld food from the girl, sleep, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
This is like Taliban stuff.
Yeah.
CIA.
The only thing they missed was waterboarding.
Waterboarding. Then we had another one. I don't think this had to do with the Southern Brotherhood. You know about them?
A little bit.
It's the Southern Boys, which is a subset of the Aryan Brotherhood. I know you know AB.
Yeah.
From jail. They run it out of jail.
Yep.
It's like the opposing molecule to the Mexican mafia or something like that. They run it out of prison.
Yeah.
It's a drug game, prostitution, gambling. They get in a little bit of everything. Then you got their smaller subsets out on the streets, and the Southern Boys is one of them. And that was nearby here. And we had a guy, this kid, who did drugs, and one of the drug dealers was over at his house, and for a while, he was over there all the time. They were buying drugs and partying or whatever. But this drug dealer ended up in a toolbox on the side of the road, across the border in Georgia. Our guy is from here. He was the one that hung out with the drug dealer. He wasn't a real gangster like the rest of them. He was just kind of a hang-around, right?
Right.
He did drugs and stuff like that. And they arrested him for it. Zero evidence timed to the crime scene. They just said, well, he was over at your house last.
Okay.
And they're saying this guy, this dumpy guy, he's kind of a chubby guy, got this 200-pound body, shot him with a shotgun, all right, loaded him in this toolbox, took him out there and dumped him, placed the toolbox in a specific location off the side of a remote road in Georgia.
By himself.
Yeah.
I
I went out and reenacted this thing by myself. All right. I'm not a dumpy guy,
No.
but I'm not young either.
Right.
All right. And it was a struggle to get that box into that position in the daytime.
It would be a struggle to get that box
Mm-hmm.
with nothing in it, let alone 200 pounds of dead weight.
I threw sandbags in this box, in a similar box, right?
Yeah.
And reenacted the thing. And I was down in my back for a few days trying to do this. You had to drag it. You had to push. You had to shove. You could have backed. I did the test where I backed the truck up and just kicked it off in the ditch.
Yeah.
Didn't land nowhere near where the actual box was found with the guy in it. I'm just saying there's zero way that this guy did it. And they have no evidence, no fingerprints, nothing. The only thing is that box belonged to this kid at one time. All right. Now, he has his receipts showing where he sold it on Facebook Marketplace.
Right.
The person that bought it on Facebook Marketplace had a bunch of stuff stolen from their garage, and this box was one of those things. They never caught the people that stole it, so they didn't do it. It's some random guy that bought this toolbox off Facebook Marketplace and put it in his garage. But his garage was robbed of like a drill press and a lift and all kind of stuff while he was on vacation.
Right.
So typical crime, right? But and they pointed to our guy just because he hung around and did drugs with them. Now he's got a death row, or not a death row, but a capital charge against him. They're looking for the death penalty. Same DA as the one from the woman with the bones off the cliff.
Go figure.
Do you think they're rushing this stuff here, trying to get political clout?
I think so. It's just my opinion, but the problem, and I understand because I policed here.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you don't have the resources here that you would in LA or New York City or, Houston, Texas or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that law enforcement here lacks the skill and knowledge that they really need to investigate these crimes. And they don't have the technology to help them either.
So this one, they pulled in the state crime lab and Birmingham, a couple of homicide detectives from there to help. And they just like, yeah, you did it. It's kind of how their report looks.
Yeah, well, okay. Did you actually do the investigation?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you just going on what the statements are? I've seen cops do that before too. And I'm not trying to pick on them, but I've just seen enough in my time in law enforcement that things don't go the way they should.
Mm-hmm. And then one with the guy in the box, I started working my way out and interviewing people that last saw this guy. All right. Set up appointments with him. And there's still a ringleader from this Southern boys around, the big drug dealer, right?
Right.
And they would say, yeah, I'll talk to you. And then all of a sudden they're buttoned up. They won't talk to me. All right. I understand that this guy's got a hit out on me. But
on you?
Yeah. But anyway, you talk about a high profile murder.
Okay.
That'd bring a lot of heat on him.
Yeah.
But you don't kill taxpayers. But
yeah.
But and God knows I paid my share of taxes last year. Good Lord. Anyways, but I started working my way out. Now we did have one woman make a statement and gave me one of this victim's phones that he left at her house, and the whole time of death thing is all screwed up on it because he was texting during the time when they said he was dead already.
Oh yeah, you did a dump on it though.
Oh yeah, we did a dump on it. We have that technology to do a dump, and the just shows that our guy couldn't have done it. But he's sitting in Cherokee County Jail right now. So
that's insane.
Yeah, but
that is insane.
I turned it over to his lawyer. His lawyers even requested a hearing. They gave it to him, and they said, no, we're keeping him.
See, I couldn't do an investigation where I'm 99% sure.
Yeah.
It's either 100% or if there's any little doubt.
You're going to tell them. I'm going to say, look,
yeah.
I think you did it.
Yeah.
Quit lying type thing. So
yeah.
I don't say that to me, please, but just keep your mouth shut and whatever the jury says.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not going to keep grinding here.
But even policing, even if I went to look into something policing, I couldn't consciously say, yeah, you did it if I don't know 100%.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to do it. Hey, I submitted my reports. Here's my findings, my notes, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I can't say without 100% certainty if somebody did it. I'm not going to lie and say, yeah, they did it.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, no, you're not going to lie. But yeah, so that's a little bit about our methodology for death investigations, how we get them, why we do them, who hires us, those kind of things. So if you got questions or comments, put them in there. What do you think, Juice? They're not commenting enough.
I know. Comment.
And on YouTube, if you're watching, like and subscribe.
Exactly.
Right? We'll talk to you soon.